Hi, this is Sandra with Healthy Body 101. This video is for SAT-2, grounding the back body, and goes along with the structural alignment therapy series for clients going through that. But again, this work and these demonstrations are good for everyone to use. We will be focusing today on muscles and tissue lines of the back of the body, yoga specifically later for helping to reassociate your body and gravity, again with the forward compression we dealt with on the first video. We have an over lengthening oftentimes of the back of the upper body, so we're trying to ground that out. And then we'll be doing myofascial release for the lower legs, or for the legs, gastrocnemius soleus and hamstrings. So we're just going to be using the foam roller today. In session 2 we worked a lot with the arches of the feet, the muscles of the back of the leg. If you are dealing with plantar fasciitis or any issues of the foot, any issues of the knee, it is coming from some deviation, chronic shortness from the muscles of the leg. So if you are dealing with plantar fasciitis and all you're getting is cortisone shots, or they're telling you need to cut the plantar fascia, there's a time and place for everything, but you need to have someone look at and examine the muscles of your legs to find out where that deviation is occurring, causing the hypertonicity, pulling on the tendons of the bottom of the feet, and making your feet actually move in incorrect patterns. You can look at the bottom of your shoes. If you're wearing one side or the other more than the other, then you have a chronic shortness. If you're turned in like this, that's supination. If you're turned out, that's eversion. So you want to make sure while you're doing this work with the foam roller, you are concentrating on keeping your feet nice and squared up. You don't want to be working the feet and they're working this way, because then you're just working into that shortness. So keep the feet nice and squared up. Never go right up to where the tendons would be attaching to the bones. There's a lot of tonicity there, so you don't want to cause any more damage there. Never work right behind the knee. So stay about an inch or so below the knee or above the knee once we get to the hamstrings. So again, we're focusing here on gastrocnemius and soleus specifically. You want to take the time again. Myofascial release takes time, so be patient. This usually is pretty intense for anyone, even if there's not an issue going on. So you typically want to stay on both legs. If you want to go to the next level, you can again stack the feet as we did in the first video with the front of the leg. So again, we're going to start about an inch or so above where the ankle joint would be. So getting into the muscle belly of gastrocnemius soleus, where they are together. Come up on your hands so you have that pressure on your muscle. If your wrist hurt here, you can stack your joints, get some towels or something that's softer for support. Again, static pressure, squaring up the feet, static pressure on the muscles, then roll to the next spot, and rolling all the way up, and you can just roll that out. If your therapist has told you you do have a deviation in your feet, you are supinated, everted, either of those things, they tell you you're tighter on the outside of your calf muscle or the inside, again, roll your body. Take a little bit of pressure off this side, put some more pressure here, and roll the outside of the calf muscle. And you'll feel it. You'll feel those spots where it's, ow, that hurts. Stay there for a little while. Get that tensity or that tension released. Again, static pressure, 30 to 60 seconds is always a good bench point. Then you always want to end going back to both legs. Take a little break in between, especially for the hands and the elbows. Go back again to both legs, squaring up the feet. And then you can add some flexion, plantar and dorsiflexion to this movement. So you can be moving up and down and flex the feet up and down. This is going another level to help retrain the muscles to move properly with correct bone structure placement. So we're correcting any defaults you have in your movement patterns and chronic shortness here. So just spend a few minutes here, back and forth on the calf, adding the flexion. Then you go from here to the hamstrings. Again, hamstrings play a huge role in many things, knee issues, position of the pelvis. If you have that forward posture, hamstrings are pulling the pelvis, so we want to get those lengthened. Most men have short hamstrings. Everyone usually has tight hamstrings, but men specifically a lot of times have really tight hamstrings. Now, depending on the girth of your thigh, depending on how hypertonic you are, sometimes the foam roller is not quite enough to get good pressure. If you're up on your hamstrings, and you just don't feel it no matter what you do. You pick your feet up, if you let them loose and you rest, if you stack, and you're just not feeling anything, you might need to go to like a softball or a baseball and put it right in that meaty part of the leg and just do static pressure there. But for most people, you can get a pretty good sensation just using the foam roller. Again, both legs to start. Again, squaring up the feet. Don't want to give into a deviation that you already have and make it worse. Square the legs up. And again, static pressure. Find another pressure point. Hold there for 30 to 60 seconds. And just roll all the way up. Again, staying away from right around the knee, but you're going from basically the knee up to the hips, up to the sit bones, if you're familiar with yoga. And just roll this out. And again, this feels great. Again, you can do this while you watch TV. There's no excuse to be lazy. You can get your stretching in. Myofacial release is great. Your stretching and your yoga will be more productive if your tissue is soft. And that's the point of all of this, is that myofacial release, softening up the tissue, will help to get the muscles released a lot easier and make everything you're doing, working out, stretching, yoga, more productive. So again, that's the hamstrings. So we move here to the glutes. Again, positioning of the pelvis. There's so much to do here with that. There's so much entailed with the glutes as it refers to pelvic position, but you don't have to specifically know where the muscles are. Trust me, you'll feel it once you get on here. You want to get onto one hip. Again, piriformis, glute max, medius, they're all going to be affecting low back, hips, sciatic issues. So just find your foam roller, right? You'll find the spot where it's intense. Find that place of intensity. Hold 30 to 60 seconds. And you can roll it down. You can bring the leg up and bring even more power onto that muscle. Or just stay where if you find intensity and you're good there, stay there. And again, treat the other side. If you're dealing with issues that are unilateral, only on one side, if you have sciatic issues on one side, yes, treat that side, but still treat the other side. Don't ever just treat one side. Because if you have an issue here, you're pretty much going to be compensating with the other side, so it's going to get issues if you don't keep that lengthened as well. So again, do the other side, same thing. So you can sit right on the mat, get over on the piriformis, the muscles of the hip, and just roll those out. Keep them nice and loose. Keep that tissue melting into the foam roller. So that is the myofacial release techniques for the back of the body. And we will move now to Nicole to have some yoga positions to help ground all of that in. And again, trying to reassociate the correct positions of the muscles, tissue, bones into gravity so that we're not having any deviation off of the correct planes of the body. So we're lifting in the first video, now we're grounding the back of the body in the second video. Hope you enjoyed this video, and we will see you in the next one and continue to learn to live well.